What's up, everyone? FantasyRasta here. I'm here to talk to you guys today about my NFL sheet for Week 11. I just want to recap, just to show you that some of this stuff here is good stuff, as long as you know how to use it and utilize it correctly. So, like, these are the teams that I liked. These were their scores, based on what the little algorithm that I built. So you've got the Chargers were number one, New Orleans number two, Washington number three. Well, they're all basically tied for one. But from here, you would say, all right, which teams are in the highest games? Well, Washington, New Orleans, boom, boom. They had a high-scoring game. Buffalo at the Chargers. Chargers were the number one team. They were here, and they put up like 50 points or something like that. Jacksonville at Cleveland, they were in the top game. There wasn't a lot of offense there. New England did their thing, though. They're in the top three, which is typically where I like to focus. So New England, they were in the top three games. They were one of the top teams, and they put up like 40-something points. So this is a good gauge. I was off on a few plays, but I mean, as long as I'm hitting on the top 5, top 6, I'm cool with that, especially on like a 11 or 12 game slate. But Houston, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Arizona was whack. Buffalo was whack. Denver was whack. So, I mean, they were down here. Their scores were low. I like them based on these categories here. That's why I was considering them. But these were in the top games. They had the highest score. So these were, these teams right here were where you wanted to focus, which is where I typically focus. I look at these teams more as GPP plays, some pivot plays. But this is also very important. You could have got some good plays from these 6 games. You would have cashed with just these 6 games, which were my top 6. Didn't need anything down here really. Maybe one of the defenses, or a kicker or something. But this was good to build around. So that's my team sheet. I do this every week. I use this every week. There's more to it, but this is just a basic breakdown of the sheet. What I have here is my player list. So these are the list of players that I looked at their trends. I looked at how they've been playing, and these were players that I liked. These were players that I thought were gonna be on an uptrend. And then once I listed them, which you see they're all listed for each position, I go back and I compare them to the team sheet. So, like, for example, Flacco. He wasn't highlighted green. Before I highlighted him green, I was like, all right, Flacco, he plays for Baltimore. Where's Baltimore? Baltimore is here. They've got the red zone upside. They have the rushing upside and the passing yard upside. They're not in a very high-scoring games, ranked 8th, but he had a little upside, being that the passing yards were there and they were ranked pretty high. So, and he got all his, and then you got to think a little bit outside the box. If you understand the sport that you're participating in, you realize, Flacco got Danny Woodhead back. They're coming out of a bye week. There was good reasons to give Flacco a look. Even though he didn't have the best game, I still had lineups that cashed with him. So Flacco was one of the options. This was terrible. I thought this was going to be a good play. It didn't work out. Trubisky was there. Dalton was there. I wasn't really high on them. Kaiser, for whatever reason, he lined up. I think it was because it's like the top game. Yeah, top game, even though Cleveland was like way down here. I think he was in one of the top 5 games. It was a bad matchup against the Jags. He didn't end up making it into any lineups anyway, but he was there, I guess. Dak Prescott, he let me down big time, but this game, where is it? It was one of the lowest games that I had. So it was good not to have too much exposure here. Phillip Rivers, he was balling. He was in the top 2 games. He was going off, and then they sat him in the 4th quarter. So he could have ended up this week's top quarterback, and I was really high on him. I had a lot of him. Had a lot of Drew Brees. Had a lot of Brady. I didn't have any Keenum, even though he fit the mold, I guess, because the teams didn't line up. Where is Minnesota? Even on this list? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so He just didn't line up with any of my lineups. Wentz, he was decent. Cousins was decent. Fitzpatrick was decent. So this was my quarterback list. These are my list of quarterbacks that I thought were going to be on an uptrend. The ones in green were the ones that lined up with my sheet, so it put them in a better spot and made me feel a little bit more confident playing them. Here's my running backs. Same concept. They let me down. Um, he got a touchdown. He didn't play. He played, didn't do much. First game back, McCoy went off, Howard went off, Cohen caught a touchdown, Duke Johnson caught a touchdown, Alfred Morris had a good game, C.J. Anderson got a touchdown, Devontae Booker got a touchdown, Jamal Charles didn't play, Abdullah got a touchdown, Theo Reddick had a decent game, Lamar Miller got a touchdown, Fournette got a touchdown. These two didn't play. Kareem Hunt was a letdown, but he was decent. Melvin Gordon got a touchdown. I think McKinnon got a touchdown. Latavius Murray had two. Burkhead was decent. Dion Lewis got a touchdown. Ingram and Kamara balled. Darkwa balled. These two didn't do much. They didn't do much. He didn't do much. So I missed on the Oakland running backs. Ajayi was straight. I don't think Blunt did anything. Corey Clement, I think he scored a touchdown. These three haven't played yet. Doug Martin should have had a better game. The other running backs sucked. Samaje Perine, boom, look at that one. Washington. He was the only Washington back that I really liked. And he came through. Wide receivers were Fitz. You could have went with these other guys, but Fitz, was the play, number one receiver in Arizona, so he's getting targets. So I liked him. Julio Jones plays tonight. Mike Wallace had a good game. Kelvin Benjamin started hot, got hurt. The rest of the receivers didn't do anything. I think he had a decent game. Kendall Wright didn't have a terrible game. Josh Bellamy didn't do anything. A.J. Green came through at the end, got his touchdown. LaFell had a somewhat decent game. Des Bryant got the volume again. He had a decent game. He put up like 9 fantasy points. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but he was decent. Emmanuel Sanders was bad. Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones caught a touchdown. Galladay was a decent play. He's starting to wake up. Jordy Nelson didn't do anything. Devontae Adams went off. DeAndre Hopkins went off. Bruce Ellington had a good game. Tyreek Hill had a good game. Keenan Allen went off. Top play probably at wide receiver. Decent. He got hurt. He didn't do anything. He didn't do much. He went off. Stills went off. Thielen went off. Diggs didn't do anything. Cooks went off. Amendola went off. Michael Thomas had a good game. He had a good game. He didn't play. Crabtree was decent. Jeffrey got a touchdown. Aguilar didn't do anything. Paul Richardson, Lockett played tonight. Evans and Deshaun Jackson. Evans had a decent game. Deshaun Jackson was all right. Humphries didn't do anything. Dotson had a good game. And then for tight ends, Jimmy Graham plays tonight. Jared Cook didn't do anything. Vernon Davis was all right. Brate was terrible. Witten was terrible. Clay was terrible. Hunter Henry was terrible. Tyler Croft is terrible. Benjamin Watson, all these tight ends suck. But there was no big tight end this week. I mean, you'll notice that there was no Gronk, there was no Ertz, there was no Travis Kelce, even though Kelce was probably the best one to pay up for. I mean, none of these guys ended up on my list. So I don't think I really had. I think I played Gronk because you had to. You had to have exposure to one of those tight ends, but I didn't have a lot of Gronk. I didn't have any Kelce. I didn't have Ertz plays. Yeah, I didn't have any Ertz. So yeah, so this is kind of how you do it. You got to get your players. You got to find the guys that you like, and then you compare that to the sheet. And if it lines up, then there's a good chance that these guys will end up solid plays. So I hope that helps. That was my NFL sheet breakdown for Week 11. Follow me on Twitter at FantasyRasta. If anyone is looking to be sponsored within my videos, I'm just going to start doing these and doing podcasts on the regular. So just reach out to me on Twitter at FantasyRasta, on Instagram at FantasyRasta, and I'll be back next week to do my. Actually, I'll be back in a couple days. I'll post another one in a couple days for Thanksgiving, and then I'm also doing basketball daily. Similar concept. I've got NBA team sheets. So if you want to get access to that, again, reach out to me on Twitter at FantasyRasta, and you have a good one.